but by Adelson himself.
But with Adelson, so he does have a lot of business deals around the world, for example, Macau. And if he were to, say, fund the actual embassy itself in Jerusalem, that could expose him to a number of things that could be challenging. What would they be?
And that's a really important point, Eli. It's not easy. It doesn't seem real good for him.
Well, I mean, honestly, if he were to experience problems like what you're describing, wouldn't it be more of a situation where the U.S. would just have to pay Adelson back for funding the bill?
Well, look, again, I mean, the legal ramifications could rise to damages.
All right. Owen Alterman, thank you for that. The U.S. ambassador to the UN says she thinks the Trump administration is nearly ready with its Israeli-Palestinian peace plan. Nikki Haley said the plan will be neither loved nor hated by either side, calling it a template for talks to begin.
Jared Kushner and Jason Greenblatt have been the negotiators with both sides. They are coming up with a plan. The plan won't be loved by either side, and it won't be hated by either side, but it's a template to start talking.
Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has told the Security Council that he wants an international conference to take charge of the peace process. He says the U.S. cannot be the mediator for peace with Israel. In Syria, warplanes continue to pound a rebel stronghold outside Damascus for the 6th day in a row. This comes just ahead of a UN Security Council vote on a 30-day ceasefire. The Assad regime has escalated its assault on the besieged rebel enclave of eastern Ghouta. Activists claim over 400 people have been killed and 2,000 wounded after 5 days of regime airstrikes. The UN described the region as, quote, hell on earth, with reports of